Nottingham Forest were a side that many people had to be in a relegation battle at the start of the season, now a quarter of the way into the campaign, and they sit a very comfortable third. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at their tactical setup and some of their major hallmarks of play to determine how they've managed to prove everyone wrong. Nottingham Forest are by far and away the surprise package of the Premier League season so far, and once you drill down into some of the statistics, the tactical setup, it's really easy to see why. Nuno Espirito Santo has really gotten himself into this Nottingham Forest side, setting them up in a 4-2-3-1. Two midfield pivots ahead of a standard back four, two wingers, a central attacking midfielder, and a main striker. We'll get to that a little bit later, but it's the goalkeeper that I really want to focus on to begin with. This was a major problem position for Nottingham Forest last season. In fact, Nottingham Forest had a post-shot expected goals minus goals allowed of minus 17.8. To better explain that means that once you take their post-shot expected goals, they were conceding 17 more than what they were expected. Pretty horrendous, and quite a poor reflection on the quality of goalkeeping that they had at the time. Now that Sells has come in, that has changed to +1, which means that Sells is actually excelling over what he's expected to be conceding generally, and that equates to 0.1 per match. That's really, really impressive and a massive, massive upgrade. Looking forwards into the defence, a partnership of Murillo and Milenkovic is really starting to blossom. The duality of both of these players is allowing Nottingham Forest not only to be defensively resolute, but also aggressive. Milenkovic is really good at dropping back and making sure he covers his centre-back partner, whereas Murillo is really good at moving forwards and being that aggressive player to better help Nottingham Forest be on the front foot. And you can see exactly what I'm talking about right here. So this is Nottingham Forest currently defending against an attack coming from West Ham United. The ball is here and it's going to be driving through towards the centre of the pitch. Naturally, you've got a couple of players who could make a challenge, but I want you to take a look at Murillo, who is right here next to Milenkovic. If you look at his body position, he's going to be proactive in this situation. He's not going to allow the ball to get to Bowen. He's not going to allow the ball to get past him. Instead, what he does is just nip in front. And it's this proactive, aggressive play that is really, really good. It works in tandem very well with Milenkovic, who is more of a reserve player. He uses his strength, his body position, and his good tactical awareness to be able to come around and cover whenever he needs to. At the same time, they work very well together. But in this particular scenario, it's about Murillo and the aggression that he shows from defence. Moving on from that, he's able to take the ball, drive forwards, and in fact then get fouled in the centre of the pitch to get a West Ham player onto a yellow card, and this only happens because of Murillo's positivity and his aggression from the off. The defensive aspect of Nottingham Forest is the most important and biggest change that I think Nuno Espirito Santo has made to this side. The way that he's able to get them to regain a defensive shape, utilising these two defensive midfielders while still allowing for an attacking threat through the channels, through the wings, is nothing short of exceptional. And one of the best things that this dual midfield double pivot does is it allows for them just to have a platform, a backbone, if you will, to allow for the creative attacking players to go and do their thing while still having a defensive solidity whenever they need to. Then once they are majorly under pressure, you can see them drop back into their standard 4-4-2 formation or 4-2-4 formation, depending on how you see it. And then you've got really close, tight-knit lines between the centre-backs and the midfielders. You've got good aggression from the wing-backs or the full-backs, and you've got the wingers dropping back whenever they need to. In short, Nottingham Forest is a very, very good and well-organised side that has only conceded 7 goals this season. Really, really impressive stuff. Take this game against Leicester, for example, a huge game for Nottingham Forest, and they needed to be defensively composed about the way that Leicester would start to build up play. We have Nottingham Forest's back four right here. I'm just going to highlight them for you, and of course the main outlier here is the fullback who has gone out to go and challenge the left hand side. But no fear, because Elliot Anderson has actually dropped into a position to follow the fellow Leicester City winger, and it allows for Nottingham Forest to still stay defensively resolute. If the ball gets played through into the Leicester City winger, the ball is still going to be followed by Elliot Anderson, maintaining that core defensive strength. strength. And then in the centre, you've got Milinkovic onto Vardy, you've got Murillo ready to attack a header, and you've got Aina who is ready to be on hand whenever necessary. But another thing to really notice is look at the compactness of the lines between the midfield and the defensive line itself. You've got real compactness of play. There isn't a lot of space at all. And in fact, if you look at the lines where Nottingham Forest are actually applying their trade and applying their defensive aspects, there isn't any space here whatsoever. And then you've still got Alanga ready to go on a counter-attack. You've got Hudson-Odoi who can then sprint and spring back the other way. And as this unfolds, what you eventually got is Leicester unable to really carve out any opportunities. They go out wide. You've got one who can confront. You've got two who can confront. And even if they did want to try and cross the ball, I believe that they have faith in these two to be able to deal with any kind of threat that Vardy might pose. It just so happens that it gets recycled back, it gets driven infield by Buonanotte, and you've got him unleashing a shot because of his frustration and the sheer defensive determination of this Nottingham Forest side. Yet again, a really good example of a good, well-oiled defence that has been properly trained by Nuno. All of this good defensive work culminates in Nottingham Forest having faced only 3.4 shots per 90, 34 in total in the Premier League. That is the third best out of every side. Not bad at all. But just because they are defensively sound and very resolute does not mean that they don't know how to go forwards, because they absolutely do. Nottingham Forest have scored 14 goals this season, and it's actually the manner in which they're scoring those goals which is so impressive. They obviously want to go forward, but it's the way that they go forwards that's really interesting. Utilising the left-hand side of the pitch, 46% of their build-up play comes from that left-hand side, utilising the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi and, of course, Moreno. Now, it's the overlapping and underlapping runs of Moreno that I find to be really intriguing. Utilising this double pivot defensive system, it allows for Moreno to then go forwards and unleash himself down that left-hand side. Of course, keeping Aina back a little bit and not overcommitting too much. But it's utilising Callum Hudson-Odoi to drive infield, using those decoy runs from Moreno, or even the main runs from Moreno, to allow for Nottingham Forest to get the better of their opponents. It's actually these runs into this inside channel from either Moreno himself or even the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White or Elliot Anderson that allows them to start developing play and scoring goals. Let me give you an example. So, this is Nottingham Forest in build-up currently. This isn't the game they had against Leicester, and we can see a good build-up of play happen here. So you've got the back four that's just on this left-hand side, but again, you've got that double midfield pivot that I was mentioning earlier. This gives them the solidity in the middle of the park to allow their attacking players to go and express themselves. It also allows the attacking winger or wing-back in Moreno to then go forwards and help with the attack. Callum Hudson-Odoi is about to receive the pass from Moreno, and then the attack begins to really take shape. Once he drives forwards, you've then got this run right here. I want you to take note of Elliot Anderson here, because he's going to find and occupy this channel right here between the Leicester City centre-back and their right-back. It's this run that really starts to disrupt them and really cause a load of problems, and this is seen quite a few times. But we're going to take a look at it in this instance. Once the pass gets played through to Anderson, he's then able to drive into the box. It's this drive into the box, and it's the dynamism and directness that really puts Leicester City off guard. You need to look at Chris Wood. He has been sensational this season, scoring 8 goals in the games that he has played, being Nottingham Forest's top scorer, but also only being bested in the Premier League by Erling Haaland with 11. That's not bad at all. As Elliot Anderson drives into the box, he crosses it into Chris Wood, and one thing that I really like from him is his experience in the side. Look at the touch that he takes here, and this allows him to then swivel. It's a proper striker's goal. Swivel and just shoot it towards the bottom right-hand corner of the goal. It's really difficult to save because of the quickness of play, the directness of play, and Nottingham Forest's energy down this left-hand side. Quality. Let's take a look at another example of the utilisation of this left-hand channel for Nottingham Forest, the right-hand channel for their opponents. So currently you've got the double pivot here, you've got Yates, and you've got Dominguez, who is currently on the ball. He's going to play it into Gibbs-White, who's taken a deeper position out on this left-hand side. But I want you to pay attention to the movement of Moreno. He's the player that's standing just behind Dominguez here, and he's going to make a run through into this channel. Notice how wide it is between the West Ham defenders, and he's going to run into that channel and just make it that little bit more difficult for West Ham to defend. So as we move it on, we've got Morgan Gibbs-White, who's currently on the ball here, and he's going to be playing that pass over the top to the on-running Moreno, and then Nottingham Forest are in. You got Gibbs-White is about to play the pass, and once he plays it, it's then about isolating this space, taking this space and driving towards the byline. This is something that's really, really good from Nottingham Forest, the directness of play, but also bringing in their striker and utilising his capabilities. You've got Chris Wood and his ability in the air, but also to find himself in different pockets of space in the box. And as Moreno hits the byline, it's then got a 1v1 with the West Ham defender. It's about whether he can beat him and then get a cross into the box for Chris Wood, who's trying to find himself in a better position to receive a pass. It just so happens he's able to do that. He crosses the ball into the box, and then it's about the movement from Chris Wood to be able to get on it, and he does manage to do it. Nottingham Forest are a very good and very efficient attacking side, and it's through this dynamic down the left-hand side that really causes teams a whole heap of problems. But there is one more thing. Nottingham Forest really like a shot from outside of the box. In fact, they've scored 5 goals from outside of the box this season. That's the second highest in the Premier League, and only Manchester City have got more. This shows that Nottingham Forest have a good belief within their squad, within their individual players in Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, and more. That's bolstered by Nuno, and he's giving them the belief to go forwards and really take those moments. Nottingham Forest are a throwback side for me, one that really likes to delve down the wing play, utilise a main, strong attacking striker, while also taking those moments and opportunities when they arise. Nottingham Forest have a very good defensive shape, they work for each other, and they have a good team ethos, all brought together by their manager. They are doing nothing short of sensational, and I believe that if they continue in this vein of form, there's no limit to where they could go. But of course, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.